My first week in America, 7 mistakes that still haunt me. I had been in America for exactly 4 days when I made a mistake so embarrassing I still think about it at 2 a.m. And the worst part? I was trying so hard to sound polite. In today's story, you will learn 7 real English expressions that most Arabic speakers get completely wrong and the misunderstandings they cause. Stay until the end. Because mistake number 7 is the one everyone makes on their very first day. My name is Nour, 26 years old. I had studied English for 8 years back in Egypt. 8 years of grammar books, 8 years of vocabulary lists, 8 years of writing perfect sentences on paper. I was sure I was ready. I landed at JFK Airport on a cold Tuesday morning in January. My suitcase weighed 30 kilograms. My heart was beating even faster. The immigration officer looked at my passport. Then he looked at me. Then he said, "What brings you to the States?" I smiled my most confident smile and said, "I'm coming to make my career better and to improve my life situation." He nodded slowly. He stamped my passport. I walked through the doors. I thought that went perfectly. I was wrong about so many things that week. Mistake number 1, baggage claim. A woman dropped her bag right next to me. She looked tired. She looked like she needed help. I picked it up for her and said, "You are welcome." She looked confused. She hadn't thanked me yet. In English, you say "you're welcome" after someone says "thank you," not before. If you say it first, it sounds very strange, like you are already expecting a thank you that hasn't come. "You're welcome." This is your response after thank you, never before it. She smiled politely and walked away. I stood there wondering what went wrong. Mistake number 2. I took a taxi to my cousin's apartment in Queens. The driver was from Pakistan. Very friendly, very talkative. After 20 minutes, he asked, "So how are you finding New York?" I said. "Honestly, I am so-so, a little tired, a little nervous." He laughed. Not a mean laugh, a kind one. "Brother," he said, "in America, nobody says so-so. You say I'm good or I'm doing well. So-so sounds like something is very wrong. I'm good. I'm doing well." These are the standard American answers when someone asks how you are. So-so or not bad sounds negative in American English. It sounds like you are suffering. Avoid them. I practiced quietly in the back of the taxi. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Mistake number 3. My cousin Sarah welcomed me into her apartment. She made tea. She showed me my room. Then she said, "Make yourself at home, Nour. My place is your place." I stood completely still. Was she telling me I could take her apartment? Was this some American legal thing I didn't understand? I said, "Are you sure? This is a very generous offer." She laughed for almost a full minute. "Make yourself at home." This is not a legal offer. It simply means, relax, be comfortable. Feel free to use everything here. Nothing more. After that moment, I started to understand something important. English expressions almost never mean exactly what the words say. Mistake number 4. 2 days later, I went for a walk in the neighborhood. An older man was sitting on his stoop, the steps in front of his building. He looked at me and said, "Hey, how's it going?" In Egypt, when someone asks how something is going, they usually want a real answer. So I stopped walking. I explained that I had just arrived, that my English was not perfect yet, that I was feeling a little overwhelmed but also excited, that the weather was colder than I expected. He nodded politely through all of it. Then he stood up and went inside. "How's it going? How are you doing?" In American English, this is often just a greeting, like hello. The expected answer is short. Good, thanks. You? Or just, not bad. They are not usually asking for your full story, unless they sit down with you and stay. Now I understand. Small talk in America is like a handshake. Fast, polite, and then you move on. Mistake number 5. On my third day, I went to a coffee shop to practice my English. The barista was maybe 20 years old, very friendly. She smiled and said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yes, please. I want a coffee, black, with no sugar, and I want it hot." She wrote on the cup. Then she said, "Great, that'll be $3.50, cash or card?" I said cash. I gave her $5. She gave me change. Then she said, "It'll be right up. Hang tight." I looked around. Hang tight? Was there a rule about hanging things? Was I holding something wrong? Hang tight. This simply means, wait a moment, your order is coming soon. It is informal. It is friendly. It is not a command about hanging anything. I stood there gripping my receipt until the coffee arrived. Mistake number 6. My biggest social mistake that week happened on day 4. Sarah introduced me to her American friend Jessica. Jessica was warm, funny, very easy to talk to. At the end of our conversation, Jessica said, "It was so nice meeting you, Nour. We should hang out sometime." I was so happy. A real American friend already. I said, "Yes. When? What day is good for you? Can we go this Saturday? What time do you finish work?" Jessica looked at Sarah. Sarah looked at me with eyes that said, "Stop talking, Nour. We should hang out sometime." This is often a polite way to end a conversation, not always a real plan. When someone says this, the correct answer is simply, "Definitely. That would be great." Don't ask for specific dates immediately. Wait for them to follow up with a real invitation. In American social culture, sometimes sometime means next week, and sometimes sometime means never. You learn to read the difference. Mistake number 7, the one I think about most. It was my last night of that first week. Sarah had made dinner. Her neighbor James came over, a kind man, maybe 50 years old. He had lived in New York his whole life. We were eating. James asked about my plans in America. I told him I had a job interview the next morning. He smiled and said, "Oh, that's exciting. Break a leg." I put my fork down. Break a leg? Was this a threat? Did he not like me? Was this some American expression I was supposed to already know? I looked at Sarah with wide eyes. She was trying very hard not to laugh. Break a leg. This means good luck, especially before a performance, a presentation, or an interview. It sounds strange, but it is one of the most common expressions in American English. Never take it literally. It is warm. It is encouraging. James saw my face. He explained everything. Then he said, laughing, "Welcome to America, Nour. Nothing means what it sounds like." I went to that interview the next morning. I was nervous. But before I left, James knocked on the door and said, "Break a leg." And this time I laughed. That week taught me something important. English isn't just grammar and vocabulary. English is culture. And culture takes time and real situations to learn. Let's quickly go over what you learned today. 1. You're welcome comes after thank you, never before it. 2. I'm good is the standard answer to how are you? Not so-so. 3. Make yourself at home means relax and be comfortable. 4. How's it going? Is often just a greeting. Keep your answer short. 5. Hang tight means wait a moment. 6. We should hang out sometime. is polite but not always a real plan. 7. Break a leg means good luck. 7 expressions, 7 situations, and every single one of them is something you might face in your first week. Now here's the real question. Can you say these expressions with a natural, confident pronunciation? Because knowing break a leg is one thing, but saying it at the right moment, with the right stress, with confidence, that is something else. Open SpeakPro. Say these 7 expressions out loud. The app will score your pronunciation honestly, not just say great job every time. It will tell you exactly which sounds to fix and how to fix them. The link is in the description below. See you in the next story.